Welcome everyone to Totally Online Gaming Group. We're glad you guys could join us for another of our Talespire Collaborative build stream nights. Now, this is a little different because we are streaming to both Twitch and YouTube right now. Testing it out because excited because this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing our first live stream in our new studio. And we're very excited about that. So, kind of testing things out a little bit tonight to make sure that the multi-stream works and everything is, proper. So we've got this working apparently. Streaming on both right now, so I'm pleased with that. Yes, pretty excited more than anything about Saturday for our first live stream in our new studio. And we will be doing giveaways to celebrate that. So tune in on either Twitch or YouTube this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. All right. As always, got to give a shout out to our sponsors. There we go. There. So in Twitch chat, you'll notice our sponsor is Critical Hit Gaming Supplies. I just posted that right there. They are a locally owned here in Central Florida, family-owned company that creates tons and tons of miniatures that you can use in your at-home games, as well as they've got lots and lots of dice bags, dice trays. I mean, pretty much all your gaming needs. They've got some awesome stuff. Go check them out on their website at www.criticalhitgamingsupplies.com. And if you see something there that you like and you want to buy it, use the code TOGG15 and you'll get 15% off your purchase. So there we go. That's the sponsor spot. Now, for tonight, unfortunately, neither Klein nor Anton can be here. So, that being said, I am going to be building by myself. So it's not really so much collab tonight, but I am going to be doing some building myself. And normally, we invite anyone to join us. However, I am going to be building in the Avatar Ascension campaign that I made in Talespire. And I'm reserving that for just myself and my players to be in. And what I'm going to be building in here is a kind of starting screen for when my players are in Talespire and awaiting their characters going to an actual map that we're using for maps or combat. So that's what I'm going to build is I'm basically building kind of a waiting screen. And I'm thinking of building it in the theme of a nice campsite where all the players can hang out and relax and, and just kind of chill. Something, nice to look at. So that's the goal for tonight. And since I am by myself, I am definitely putting on some music to listen to as I sit here and build. So beware incoming music. All right. And let me know if you guys can hear the music, if it's too loud, too soft, all those kind of things. Just let me know about it. That way I can adjust the volume. But here we go. So here's Talespire. I'm in here right now, and I am going to start building this. And I think first thing you need to do is decide on kind of the terrain that I'm doing. So let's zoom out. Right now we've got this blank board to work with. And I think what I kind of want is, well, maybe like a kind of like a little bit of a valley, something where they're kind of tucked away, maybe a road going past and it's a little bit off the road, maybe on a rise, a hill a little bit, but then kind of around it is higher, higher hills, a little bit steeper terrain that kind of tucks the campsite in a little bit. And I think foresty around it. So let's kind of see what we can do with that. So I think I'm going to start out with, let's go for some rocks. Let me see. I'm going to have to go into the filters here, because I think what I'm going to start out with is some of these large boulders, and I'm going to use this as kind of a floor, so to speak, for the terrain. So because I want a little bit raised up So I'm going to go ahead and start placing these, and I'm going to do some rotation with some of this. And we're going to slide them into each other a little bit. I'm going to kind of outline. Let's go with this way. Nope, I don't want to drop that too much. Let's bring that back up. So I'm going to kind of bring that around this way. Let's rotate that again. Bring it this way. And we'll move it like this. And then give it a couple more twists and turns. Because this is going to be kind of the, so to speak, the back wall of the terrain. So we'll go a little something like this. And we'll bring that around like that. And do a couple more flippy-doos here and there. Flip things around. Make it look a little bit interesting. And let's give it this side. Kind of like this. So I think, yeah, we're kind of getting a general shape. Kind of like a kind of half circle kind of coming around it a little bit. And we'll move this out a little bit too. We'll bring this a little more circular this way. I think like that. That's working. So then we'll bring this like this. Okay. So kind of like that. So I've got something going like this, and then I'm going to rotate that around this way too. So instead of recreating the wheel, as always, we are going to use our favorite tool, the copy paste. Okay, and now, see, I can do something like this. And that kind of makes that shape that I want. And then all of this, well, let's move up a little bit. All of this is going to be, oops, is going to be kind of like a back wall. So I think what I want to do is kind of layer this and tier it, so to speak. So I'm going to go with another copy paste here of all of this. And then what I can do is I can kind of come in behind here a little bit. Give it a little bit more depth that way, and then back this way, and that way. And then raise it up, kind of like this. And do the same back here, maybe a little higher. Okay, and one more. We'll go one more. I think that, and then come over to this side a little bit. Kind of like that. And yeah, one more, except we're going to kind of bring it forward just a hair. Okay, so that is going to be kind of the bowl shape that is going to encompass where our little campsite is going to be. Now, off of this, I want the rest of this to kind of go back a little bit as like another level of it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy just this so that I can kind of get the height here and use this to do a little bit of filling in back here. Just to kind of fill this space out so we get some more depth behind it instead of it being kind of an immediate stop there. So kind of what I'm going for here, I think. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So speaking of which, how is everyone doing today? I hope you're having a good time. It is Thursday, so some cool stuff happening on Thursday as always. Critical Role tonight. Oh, there we go. It jumped around on me. So Critical Role happens tonight. If you're a critter and enjoy watching Critical Role, I will be watching that myself after the build stream. Okay, and If you're not a critter, well, no worries. That's fine. What are you doing tonight for fun? You busy? You're relaxing? You know, let me know. Let's hear how your life is going. Hopefully going great. Hopefully you're having a good time and enjoying life. And finding fun things to do for yourself and your friends. You know, that's kind of what life is about, is, you know, experiencing life, spending time with friends, family, and just doing what little you can to enjoy the time we've got on this earth. So, you know, some positivity for, positivity for today, I think. So, okay, so now that kind of goes back a little bit. So I think that will work, because we can make that kind of our platform, and we can put a bunch of trees and stuff on there. So when we're zoomed in on the campsite, it doesn't look like it just ends, especially if we kind of angle, you know, down into onto the campsite like this. But we need to fill this in too. So I'm going to just go ahead and grab one of these and just kind of put some in here and there. Doing a couple twists and turns in order to give it a little bit more variation to the shape. Drop that in here. We'll drop these down in here. Like that. Drop this one kind of like this. Come down a little bit further. Rotate that a little bit different angle. Drop down again. Let's rotate you out like that, and then bring you back this way. Like that, and oop. Darn it, that's not what I wanted to do. Alright. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. And back down to ground level. Okay, so that's got that side kind of filled in some. So that will work there. So now we need to do a little bit of filling on this side. So first, I think we'll bring this out just a hair. And then we're going to come down with it. So I'll drop down. I'll do a little rotating. Again, just trying to give that variation so it looks more natural. Okay, so there's ground level. So now let's fill in this hole right here. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. That's filled in. So now the point is, we're just given this layer. I still want a layer in the center where the actual campsite is, that itself is a little bit raised, almost like it's on a hill. So once again, I'm going to use these boulders. And this is just my choice on what I want to do, but I'm kind of using this to outline the little kind of hill that the campsite's on. We'll go with that. That one, that, and one there. Bring this one here. Come in like this. Okay, so that's outlining the hill. And I'm just filling this in. Just because that way got a level to work with, and anything that pokes through, instead of seeing the empty ground, it'll see a little bit of rock. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so now, all over this area, I want grass. Because, you know, not completely, but all, you know, for the most part. Before I do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more variation to the rock by taking some, you know, this other boulder design, and in the rock here, just kind of tucking some in here and there. You know, rotating them around, giving them a little bit different heights, sometimes combining them together, you know, like in, so it's a little bit more than just one. Doing stuff like this in various places along here, just to give it a little different look, a little different texture. I don't like that one. Let's move that one. Let's put that in there, coming out like that. There we go. So adding in these different rocks and things. And let me know if the music's too loud. I can always turn that down just a hair. There we go. Alright, let's see. I want some more rock in there, here and there. So I'm going to put some in here, like this. I'm going to have some of them sticking up part way through this. Some a little bit higher. Let's go over here and do one again lower. Like that. Maybe put some in this spot here. So we've got a little bit going on with this side. You know, not doing the whole thing with this, but just again, a little bit here and there to give a little difference in the terrain and the texture. So, you know, just a little bit. It doesn't really pop right now, but once we start putting some of the green and flora and stuff in there, hopefully that'll help it pop. So, speaking of which, it is time to make the grass. And if you've ever watched any of the build streams that I've done before, Klein came up with the most amazing grass, and I love it, and I am using it. Because it is, in my opinion, way better than the grass that is, you know, like either the foam blocks or just like the grass tiles. Like if you look at these nature tiles, they look cool. I mean, there's some good ones here. They work great. But I think this design for grass is just more alive. Okay? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bunch of these and I just kind of lay them out like this. And then I'm going to rotate some. Throw some in there at random intervals, rotate again, and then one more time. Okay, and now I've got a little spot of grass that I can do the copy paste trick on. And now I can just basically drop grass in like this all over the place, and there I just made a larger chunk to work with. And so now I've got this nice large chunk of grass, so I can come up here on top of this and I can start dropping it on here however I want. You know, I can fill in areas with other pieces of it. Now it's floating a little bit, so I'm going to kind of go back and make sure that this is, there we go. Now it's in there at the right height. Okay, and so that grass, okay, is covering that area. I'm also going to put it down on the ground. Now, you see how that, it kind of blends in a little bit, so it can look sparser if you don't overlap. There's the word I couldn't think of. You don't overlap, so you can kind of make it look sparser here and there. And I am basically just kind of filling out this entire area with grass. And I think this looks so much cooler and more alive, in my opinion. So now, getting through all this grass. Wouldn't you hate to have to mow this? Come on, I mean, it's covering such a big area. Alright, and I'll do some rotating just to get some variation as I fill in. Okay, now, to me, this is a good beginning for this. Let's bring the grass up. We're going to put some up on the top here as well. So let's try to get... Actually, I kind of like how that pokes through like that. I think that's going to work out pretty well. Let's give it a try. Because we can kind of go through here like this. Oh, to me, this is looking sweet. I'm very pleased with this. Because this is going to look like a campsite that I think I will enjoy having my players' characters rest at while they wait for whatever is going to happen to them and whatever they're going to encounter in the game maps and in the game world. Okay, and then I'm also going to kind of fill in back here. Again, it's good, just giving more depth to it. So based on the camera angle and stuff, they can kind of see. It just fills it in a bit, coming out this way. Now, I did get some a little bit out over here. Now, the thing is, I can extend this kind of as like a little cliff face out, if I wish, with those rocks, just to give it, again, more field of view that they've got where they're still seeing maps, as opposed to just seeing empty space. So I can bring that out this way. And now that I've done that with the grass, now I'm going to go ahead and copy a little bit of this kind of rock face here. And I can use that. And let's go a little rotatey. Let's see, maybe a little bit like this. Come back to this direction. Here, and looks like I got some that I gotta add in. Like that. Maybe drop in a couple here. Okay. And then, to make this more natural so it's not such a like a harsh cut, I'm going to do some additional littler pieces around the edges of that. But let's also go over here on this side and do the same kind of thing. Basically just extending that cliff face out. So it's just going to add to the little campsite. And as you can see, you know, I'm working at a decent pace here. So this stream is probably not going to be, you know, a full like 2-hour stream like some of ours are. This is more likely to be a shorter one. Because, I mean, we're only like 30 minutes in here. Not even. And, you know, I've already got kind of the basic bones of this really built out for what we're doing for this campsite. Okay, and let's go ahead and add, just to give it a little bit more on the bottom so it looks like it's actually touching. And we'll do the same over here, and I'll even fill in that crevice a little bit. And again, I'm not too concerned about the aesthetics on that corner and doing the whole flippy-doos because, well, they're mostly going to be focusing in this area. But, alright, now I just want to grab a little bit of the grass. So I'm actually going to come out towards one of the edges here and just grab a little bit like this. Oops. Get rid of that thing. Okay, and now I'll start up here where we've got this really square edge. So I'm just going to kind of rotate a little bit, do a little bit of randomness. So it's not just a square edge here, because that's, as a square edge, that looks kind of eh. And I'm going to have to fill that in, I think, a little bit. Okay, so that looks a little better there, and I think we'll do some fill-in on those as well. So like here, here, here. That way the grass isn't just kind of hovering over near those edges. Rocks we can have overhanging and stuff like that, but not the grass. I don't think that works out super well. Okay. So you see how this edge is now not like a straight edge back here, so it looks a little bit better. And I like how this kind of peppers and you can see the rock through here. So I'm going to keep that. Now over on this edge, I'm going to kind of do the same thing with the grass a little bit. Just a little bit. Again, not going hog wild. Actually, we'll grab it from down here again. Not going hog wild with it because I'm not really focused on that area. But just enough so that if you kind of glance over here, it doesn't look like a completely unnatural setup to it. Because it's not like a straight line for it. And I think one of the things we're going to do to actually add some decoration to it is we'll probably put in some hanging vines coming off kind of over the rock edges here a little bit. Just to give it a neat feel to it. So we've added the grass. Okay, I've got to do some more here. Hold on. Because again, straight edges. And I kind of want to cover most of the rock here. And in fact, we're going to make this into a full-on hill and not like a rock platform. So this is going to be maybe a little trickier because I'm going to have to play with heights of the grass and make it look thick enough so that it looks kind of like a natural rise of a hill, as opposed to, you know, kind of stepping up and down at angles, or at ledges, distances, whatever, words, you know, those things. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try it with this edge, and we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, up, I guess. Let's see, let's try right there. So I'm going to go a little higher here because we want to cover the rock. So we're actually going to come out over the edge of the rock, I think, is the best way to do it. And fill in some of those holes a little bit. Going to come out over the edge of the rock. Fill in some of these holes. Coming all the way around, and I'll probably have to spin around to see the back edges of those just to make sure that that's where I want it and that it's going out far enough. But you know what, we're checking it out, we're seeing what we got. Coming out over this way. Okay, now the tricky part. So I want to drop it down just a little bit and just kind of come out around that edge at that slightly lower height. And I'm not as worried about the backside, again, because I'm not going to be presenting it from the backside. So I may actually just kind of leave that backside a little bit. Might just kind of come around like that and do both sides this way. And, oh, it hung up for a second there. Alright, there we go. So Okay. So now I kind of got around there. So now we need to drop it just a little bit more. So we're kind of making a gradual rise to this thing. At least that's the goal. So now let's drop it just a little more. Okay, so I'm hoping this is gonna work out the way I want. So far it looks like it might be. So, you know, I got some hope for this. Just kind of put a little bit around the back. Okay, maybe one more there. Once again, down just a little bit. Let's give you a rotate. And another rotate, because I don't really like that side so much. And then we're coming through this way. Okay, I'm liking it. It's becoming like a hillside. Taking a little bit of work to do it, but I think it's worth it on this. This is turning out okay so far. So we're kind of going around, and I'll put some out this way just because it's a little steeper drop off. That's all that is, right? Yeah. Okay, and now down again. All right, working. I'm liking it. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you like this concept? Does it look okay to you? What do you think? Should I add something to it? Should I change something about it? Love to hear. Okay. I might not do what you suggest, but I still would love to hear what you've got to suggest. Oh, definitely not doing that. Alright. So now, drop one more. So we're bringing that around this way. Okay, yep. Gotta fill in the back a little bit just so that, depending on the angle, it doesn't look like it's just hollow. Okay, I'm pleased so far. What about you guys? You're quiet today. No one's saying much. Okay. Dropped yet again. Do a little bit of rotating. We're getting there. We're almost to the level of the grass at the bottom. We're getting very close to it. That'll work there. Alright, another drop. Give it a little bit of different variation here towards the bottom. It's not all the exact same distance. Change this, bring this out, maybe a little bit out this way. Come back in underneath here. Kind of, so we get a little bit of a curve there. Okay, you know, and those imperfections, whether they're doing them intentional, like some of these I'm not, obviously, you know, it's just like, oh, okay, well, that's, I'm not trying to go exactly straight lines here, so it's like some of the quote-unquote imperfections are not, I'm not sitting there and being meticulous about it, trying to make a specific imperfection. But, you know, so I am conscious of it a little bit that, okay, you know, let's move it just a little bit, because those imperfections are what make it look a little more natural. Okay, we are almost right where we need to be with the grass height. Yeah, look at this. This is almost exactly at the grass height below it. So we can kind of zip around a little bit more here. Again, make it look a little bit imperfect, which helps add to the realism of it. Okay, and then finally, yeah, that should be, yep, that's at the height. So now it has created a hill, and I am going to go ahead now, let's drop that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a chunk of the grass again, just to layer this and make it a little thicker, and kind of bring it out here this way again. Again, trying to look a little more filled in, not so many holes, but again, a couple here and there help it to look a little more natural. But just kind of filling this out a little bit. Uh-oh. No, it left the board. I hate that. Let's see what it remembered and what it didn't. Okay. Remembered a goodly portion, which I am pleased with, because if it had forgotten, I would have been disappointed. Alright. Alright. That looks like good grass cover to me. Okay. Now, I am going to take another small section of grass and do a little peppering in some spots here and there on these lower levels of rock. Not that one. Come on. Alright. So there's a little bit of grass on this level here and there. It's not filled in. But we do have some greenery showing up. Get a little in there. Alright, let's bring it up a little bit to this level. Put a little bit here and there in this spot, in this level as well, just to give it that little bit of green color. Help it not look so stark and barren. Okay, a little higher up. Let's see how we're doing over on this side. Alright, a little bit higher. Yeah, we need a little bit down here, so let's... Alright, there, that's a little better, so bring it back up this way. You know, just pasting some around here and there. You know, gives a little bit of color pop to it. Okay, up a little higher. Let's see, any other good spots? That's not bad. That's not bad either. Even if it floats just a little bit, then it just kind of looks like it's like moss or something growing out away from the rocks. Bring it up just a little bit more. See if we can find some good spots for it, kind of at this level. Let's bring it up to more like this level now. There we go. Couple good spots there. That'll work. And a little there. In that little corner tucked away, that'll work there. Okay. That looks like that is added to it. Now, let's add some vines and stuff. I think that's going to help. So let's look at our nature here and see about the vines. Because I know we got some cool vines, like we got these ones here with the hanging, the kind of pitcher plant kind of look off. Oh, this ones are the ones without the pitcher plants, but there is some with like pitcher plants on them. Alright, let's see. What if we put like right there? Drop another one somewhere over in here. That'll work. Drop another. We don't want to put too many of the same one, but I do want to put enough, you know, put enough of them in there that you get a little bit of that variation. Because I think it does add to it to have, you know, some of these kind of hanging down from some of the higher outcropping portions of the rock. Like this is a good spot if I can. Let's adjust that angle a little bit. So yeah, I kind of like that. That works. And we'll get one. We'll get one from over here somewhere. Yeah, just kind of like tucked into this rock here. And then one last one, I think. Right in about there. Okay, so that's good for those. What other vines do we have? I know we've got some. Okay, so here, like, here's the pitcher plant ones. So, like, boom, here's pitcher plant one. Let's drop a couple of those.